Hello and welcome to my guide on how to base tank normal mode Amascut. This will be very detailed since I'll be going over all 5 phases and every single mechanic within each phase. At the end of the video, I will be showcasing a kill example so you're able to follow along and learn some tips and tricks. The best and easiest way to learn how to base is in solo mode. This is so that you're able to practice. And then the very first mechanic will be grovel, in which case you want to pray correctly, which it can be quite hard if you have a couple of people using magic and they use the Tempest ability, then you'll hardly be able to see the animations. But the animations will be blue is for magic, yellow is for range, and red is for melee. Once you are at the boss, you actually want to pray range, and now you simply attack the boss. She will also sometimes do a lot of melee hits. So, for example, here is the grovel special effect. First one is blue, then melee, then range. It's that easy, although it does take quite a while to get used to that. And then next up will be tear them apart. This will be some nice melee rapid damage. So what I like to do is just pray devotion and you should be fine. Now for the very next mechanic, it will be bend this knee. This is a 8,000 hit, but you want to go next to a teammate, and that's because instead of 8,000, it will be 4,000 damage. It does spread, so you want to go next to people. Next up will be your soul is weak. You want to either barricade or more stability, in which case you should be perfectly fine. And then right here, my screen is green. This means you want to pray range, or you still have access to the barricade ability, so it does last a while. But keep in mind, I do have turtling 4 on it. But this is what I found to be the best way to learn this boss. And then the mechanics pretty much just repeat themselves. And then right here, when she does say enough, it will be phase 2. Even though, yes, I pretty much did 0 DPS. It's just a perfect way for you to learn the mechanics. And then this one's a little bit painful, but for phase 2, you'll get this weird poison bleed effect. You'll actually want to immortality, then pray range. Since the monsters, which you won't be able to see them, but they are able to pretty much far cast you, and then the DPSers will actually take care of that. You want to use your basic abilities. Then you do have the little doggies. These, they do some nice rapid melee damage. So just pray for melee and devotion. Usually in a group, you won't have to worry about pretty much wrecks, since they will be getting rid of. Then you just want to attack the puppies. So for example, just use your bleed abilities, and this I have found the best way to actually get rid of them. They do attack with both range and magic, so you have to be careful with that. And then usually around here is when your teammates do come out of the realm. There is one mechanic you're not able to learn in solo mode, and that is all strength withers. You will change the background color of your screen to either red, you want to pray melee. If it's yellow, pray range. And if it's blue, pray magic, and you want to devotion. Afterwards, you will notice that there will be those scarabs. This indicates phase 2. For phase 2, there's a couple things we'll be doing, and you'll either want to go east or west. And this is so that you're able to kill the gatekeeper gorilla for the DPSers. Then you're able to kill Rex that does spawn on both west and east. And then usually the little puppies do like to come out, so you can pray melee. While you are in the middle of this, she will give you a massive bleed. You're able to pretty much barricade or immortality it, or if you want, you are able to pass it to someone else who is outside. After you have dealt with the gorilla and Rex, you want to go south, and this one might be a little bit tricky since it is quite time based in a sense, and that is you want to hug the south wall, pray melee, and deal with all the little puppies that are on you. You will notice that this statue is pretty much greenish black. You want to wait until it is golden. Now it might take quite a while, and this is because it's based on the DPSers who did their role, so you just have to wait. And you could do both statue to the west and the east. Although sometimes it kind of depends on the DPS who is outside. They'll usually do one of the two statues. And then you just want to pretty much pray melee, attack some scarabs, and right here where it turned golden, you want to click it once. Then it should do it a second time, and then finally a third time. Then right here, you want to click it the final time, in which case then you want to surge blade dive to the boss. This will lower all the puppies that are on you, and you'll be able to soul split to get your health back up. A little bit of a disclaimer, you do not want to spam click that statue, and that's because every time you click it while it is green, it will say in your chat box, and everyone will take 2,500 damage. So make sure to only click once. By the time you did click your statue that third time, you want to build up to sunshine, and you'll want to get ready for your rotation. That's because you'll get a lightning strike to the boss right here. This means you'll be able to do physical damage to her, which will be the end of phase 2. Both DPSers will need to do it, so you should see 2 lines, from one from the east and one from the west. Then you want to deal as much damage to her, and then she'll start phase 3, exactly like phase 1, where she will say grovel. You want to pray correctly for those 3 attacks in whatever order, since it does change from fight to fight. And then remember, it is kind of hard to tell depending on if you have all 4 magicians and then like 1 necromancy, and they all use Magnum Tempest. Oh man, that was a pain to see. And then for tear them apart, you pretty much want to pray melee and devotion. And then when she says bend this knee, you want to bladed dive to pretty much your team. So for example, to the east, there is 3 other people. You want to go to wherever there is more people, and this reduces that 8,000 damage. Once the boss reaches 1.2 million health, she will start phase 4. This time, instead of damaging the gorilla, you want to wait until she spawns little scarabs, in which case then when you do kill the scarab, you're able to pick it up. You want to chunk it at the gorilla so that you're able to destroy the gorilla's barrier. All while you're doing this, you want to make sure to click on the statue when it's golden, pray melee, get rid of the puppies, since usually about 6 to 12 dogs will spawn on this phase, and you'll want to also kill the scarabs. You want to throw 4 in both the west and east portal. Usually you only have to stick with one side, and this is because the DPSer likes to stay out to help you, since you'll be taking a lot of damage. Make sure to throw all scarabs either at the boss or off the arena, and that's because they will explode and deal 1000 damage to everyone on your team. Once all the statues have been clicked 3 times and the DPSers have done their role, you'll be able to DPS the boss up into about 600,000 damage, which will start phase 5. Lastly, phase 5, part 1. This will be a little bit crazy, and as a base tank, we always do the west or the east one. You want to stand in between a statue and a little light orb to the north, in which case you should have a little light path slowly charging it up. It's the same way on the east side. It just depends. I have found most people always hug the west one, and you're able to attack the soul obelisk to get your health back. And if there are puppies nearby, you want to attack those. Once the bar is fully charged, you will simply want to run and surge to the boss, and you want to go ham on her. We will start calling names out. You want to step in between her and the little orb in the very middle of the screen. You can tell when it is your name when your whole area is pretty much highlighted yellow. You want to either reflect resonance to reduce that damage. Now, it is only about a 4,000 hit, and she'll do this a total of 4 times. If, however, you do fail it, as in right here, where he was a tile too close to me, I did pretty much almost wipe the whole team. And then for the 4th one, now you have to repeat the whole phase. But since I did the west one first, we will instead want to go to the east side, charging that little light pillar. You will have one more attempt at defeating the boss. It's just like before. You want to fill up the whole bar, attack the puppies, build adrenaline on the soul obelisk, and then you want to go ham, and hopefully you're able to defeat her. If not, you will get instantly killed after the 4th time she has called someone's name. Since you are the base tank, you will be the first person to surge north to the boss, as this will gain her aggression towards you. Then, you just want to remember her very first mechanic, which might be a little bit hard, and that will be grovel. So switch your prayers correctly. Although yes, you are able to base tank this in normal mode, however, for hard mode, it is very good to have practice from normal mode, so you really want to be careful. And since we did have a lot of DPS, we were able to skip a handful of other mechanics. So let's say if you have 4 or even 3 players, you'll then expect those mechanics. And then luckily right here, remember, you cannot use any thresholds on Rex, as he will pretty much recoil and kill everyone on the team. Then your job is to simply just stay and hug the statues. This does take quite a while, but I mean, it's pretty enjoyable in my opinion. You can pretty much AFK for like maybe 10-15 seconds. Then just pay attention to the puppies. Make sure to pray melee. And then if you are using magic, you are able to actually kind of lure all the puppies on you. And then tsunami the boss once the puppies are in the middle to get rid of them. Then you just want to pretty much wait and rely on the DPSers to do their little method of making the boss immune. So this is very, very time gated thanks to the DPSers. Then you just want to pretty much just DPS as normal until you do hit phase 3. In which case, just like in phase 1, she'll repeat the whole mechanics again, which, I mean, they're not really too difficult once you do get used to the red is melee, yellow is range, and blue is magic. Now, for the next phase, you'll be seeing the little scarabs charge up, and the gatekeeper will have a little barrier on her health. You want to attack a scarab, pick it up, and chunk it at the gorilla that's shielded. This will then take down its shield, then you're able to damage it. Afterwards, from here on out, I like to pray melee since she was spawning a lot of dogs, and your job as the base tank is to attack the scarabs, pick up their body, and chunk them into the portal. Usually, you only need to do one side. However, if you want, you can have both DPSers go to their side inside the realm and help those other DPSers. You could be in the very middle of the arena, in which case you're able to use Chain, Dragon Breath, Tsunami, kill 8 scarabs, and then throw 4 on each side, all while you are also clicking on the statue. But remember, it has to be golden. If you click on it while it is green, everyone on your team will be taking 2,500 damage for every time you click. Then the DPSers will make the boss immune, so you're able to pretty much attack her until she does have about 600,000 health. Usually it's not an issue, but let's say if you have 4 or 3 players, you will want to stagger the DPS immune feature. And then right here, you'll notice the scarabs do have a little charging health on. I like to barricade. However, what you could do is actually pick up their body and throw them at the boss, throw them outside of the arena, or at the soul obelisk. If you don't, they will explode and they'll deal 2,000 damage to every player. All while you are charging up the west or the east little light beam, which will make the boss immune. Then you have the final phase part 2, in which case it will be a DPS race. You have 4 attempts and she will call 4 names each time. Since this was a very good team and they were able to do enough damage, we did not actually have to do this a second time. So that does save probably about a minute. You just have to make sure once your name is called, you will visually be able to tell, since your game area will be highlighted yellow. Then you'll want to either reflect, debilitate, or even resonance, and congratulations, you have gotten your normal Amascut kill.